Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is March 14th, 2024, and today we're going to discuss whether Barcelona will be able to qualify to the 2025 Club World Cup. Also, Barcelona have been dealt a huge blow as the Vice President of the Economic Area, Eduard Romeo, has announced his resignation. And finally, Bayern Munich are reportedly hatching a plan to try to sign Ronald Araujo in the summer transfer market. We have a lot to discuss. So let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo. And before we begin with the news, just a quick reminder to make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. All of this helps this channel continue to grow. Also, if you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure you hit the Kickback. And if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure you head to Bet Us. Both links for Kickback and Bet Us are down below in the description. Now we will begin today's video by discussing the Club World Cup, because after Barcelona qualified to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, I've been getting a lot of questions about whether Barcelona will now be able to qualify to the Club World Cup. So I decided to discuss it in this video. But first, let's break down the new format of the Club World Cup, because under the current format, it used to be 7 clubs competing in a yearly competition, 6 of them being the winners from each association. So for example, the winners from the Champions League in Europe, the winners from Copa Libertadores from South America, etc. Plus the 7th club being a club from the host nation. So 7 clubs competing in a yearly competition. And under the new format, it will be 32 clubs instead of 7, divided into 8 groups of 4 with group stages and then knockout stages. So pretty much the same format as the current Champions League or the same format as the current World Cup. And instead of being held yearly, it will be held every 4 years, being held on the year before the World Cup, the regular World Cup, and being held in the nation that's set to host the regular World Cup. So for example, the World Cup is in 2026. So the Club World Cup will be 1 year before, in 2025, and it will be in the USA, which is one of the host nations for the 2026 regular World Cup. This will of course take place of the Confederations Cup, if you may, because as some of you might recall, we used to have the Confederations Cup that used to be held 1 year before the World Cup in the host nation of the World Cup. And it was kind of a way for that host nation to test the waters, to test their capabilities, to see if they are capable of, hosting the regular World Cup, if there's anything that they need to do. The Confederations Cup, of course, consisted of the champions from each confederation. So for example, from Copa America in South America, from the Euros in Europe, etc. That was canceled back in 2017. So I guess the Club World Cup will now be the way for host nations to test their capabilities, whether they are ready to host the World Cup a year later. Now you might ask, how are the 32 spots in the Club World Cup will be divided amongst the continents? And well, it will be 12 clubs from Europe, 6 clubs from CONMEBOL, which is South America, 4 clubs from CONCACAF, which is North and Central America, 4 clubs from AFC, which is Asia, 4 clubs from CAF, which is Africa, 1 club from Oceania, and finally 1 club from the host country, which again, in this case, will be the USA. Now, out of the 12 clubs that will qualify from Europe, 4 of them will be the Champions League winners for this season and the past 3 ones. So that will be Chelsea, Real Madrid, and Manchester United in that order, who have already qualified, with the 4th club being the champions of this Champions League season, which of course we still don't know who it will be. And the 8 other clubs from Europe will be determined based on points, which is what FIFA call the coefficient. Now you might ask, how do you get points towards your coefficient? Well, it's based on your performance in the Champions League. For every victory, you get 2 points. For every draw, you get 1 point. For qualifying to the group stages, you get 4 points. For qualifying to the round of 16, you get 5 points. And after that, you only get 1 point per stage. So if you qualify to quarters, that's 1 point. To semis, that's 1 point. To the final, that's 1 point. So to put all of this into context, when Barcelona defeated Napoli on Tuesday, they got 2 points. Since they qualified to the quarterfinals, they get another point. So Barcelona ended up getting 3 points. Now, another caveat for qualifying to the Club World Cup is that each nation will get a maximum of 2 slots. So Spain will only get to send 2 clubs to the Club World Cup, since Real Madrid has already automatically qualified for winning the Champions League. That means that there's only 1 spot left. So that answers the question of many people who've been asking me, what happens if Atletico Madrid win the Champions League this season? Do they automatically qualify, allowing Barcelona to qualify through the coefficient? The answer is no, because you only get 2 spots per nation. So again, since Real Madrid has one of those spots, the second spot will either go to Barcelona or Atletico Madrid. And you might ask, well, how can Barcelona beat Atletico Madrid to make it to the Club World Cup? Well, one way is, of course, winning the Champions League this season. That would mean that Barcelona would qualify automatically. And if not, it would have to be based on the points, where Atletico Madrid currently have 65 points to Barcelona's 59 points. Now, Atletico Madrid defeating Inter Milan in a penalty shootout and qualifying to the quarterfinals really hurt our chances, because Atletico Madrid got 3 points. We definitely needed them to be disqualified in the round of 16, but they made it. So now you might ask, well, what does Barcelona need to do to beat Atletico Madrid to the Club World Cup? Well, first of all, we would need Atletico Madrid to lose both legs of the quarterfinals, leaving them with 65 points, no more points for them. And Barcelona would need to win both legs of the quarterfinals, so that's 4 points to win 2. That would mean also that we would qualify to the semifinals, so that's another point for qualifying, so that's 5 points total, putting us at 64 to Atletico Madrid 65. And from there, we would either need to win our first leg of the semifinals, putting us at 66, beating Atletico Madrid in points and qualifying, or we could also just draw one of the legs of the semifinals, which would give us 1 point. But you say, well, if we get only 1 point, Barcelona and Atletico Madrid will be tied with 65 points each. Well, in the case of a tie, Barcelona would advance. So, impossible? No. Is it likely? It's going to be difficult, because it's going to depend on a lot of factors. Again, it's going to depend on Atletico Madrid losing both quarterfinals and on Barcelona winning both semifinals. Both quarterfinals and making it to the semifinal, and winning or drawing one of the semifinals. Or of course, if we don't want to count points and give ourselves a headache, Barcelona would just have to win the entire Champions League, and they would automatically qualify. Now you might ask, why does Barcelona care about qualifying to the Club World Cup? Well, the answer is money, because it's been revealed that the participating clubs in the Club World Cup will automatically get 50 million euros. That's 50 as in 50, and that's just for participating. From there, they can make more money through bonuses for each victory they get, and of course bonuses for winning the whole thing. So Barcelona need to qualify to this Club World Cup, because again, they would make 50 million plus whatever bonuses they can collect through on the way there. And that would mean a huge boost for Barcelona, given the club's financial situation. 50 million euros, it would definitely be a big help. But as always, I do want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think is going to happen? Do you think Barcelona has a shot at qualifying to the Club World Cup? Let me know down below. And speaking of Barcelona's finances, the club were dealt a huge blow today as the vice president of the economic area, Eduard Romeo, announced his resignation. Now, we've been talking about resignations a lot these past few weeks. Of course, we talked about Maribel Melendez, the corporate director of Barcelona that just resigned recently. There was also the director of La Masia, who also resigned recently. And up until today, it was a total of 9 resignations under Joan Laporta. But today's resignation, not only did it mark the 10th one, it marked the biggest resignation yet, because Eduard Romeo was again the vice president of the economic area, an extremely important position within the board. And Eduard Romeo was also the person who led the restructuring of Barcelona's debt. He also led the negotiations for the Espai Barça project, you know, a big project that will generate Barcelona a lot of money, because it's expected that once our stadium is fully complete, it will generate around 400 million euros per season. So definitely a huge blow for Barcelona. And that was evident in Joan Laporta's words today as he appeared shaken up when he announced his news. And he also had the following statements to say. The bottom line is this: we have to communicate this news. We would have been delighted if he had not had to take this decision, but it is a necessity that he has. We accept the resignation. We are happy for the great work he has done. He has been key in the economic work of the club. We will continue to follow his advice. He leaves an economic area ready to continue his work. He will continue to be linked to the club. Barça is still your home. this is still your project. So sad words by Joan Laporta, who again appeared very shaken up when he was announcing this news, telling, I was going to say Oriol Romeu, but telling Eduard Romeu that Barcelona is still his home and this is still his project. Of course, Eduard Romeu will still be linked with Barcelona through the Barcelona Foundation, but definitely a big loss for the club. And we'll see who Joan Laporta will end up replacing Eduard Romeu with. Now, this, of course, has opened the door to many questions on why Eduard Romeu is leaving. And so far, reports are stating that Eduard Romeu is leaving because of some disagreement that he had with Barcelona's treasurer, Ferran Olivier. It seems that when Eduard Romeu first joined the board, he was unhappy with the composition of the board. He believed that a lot of the people there were just there because they were loyal to Joan Laporta. But despite his unhappiness with the whole situation, he decided to accept the position and do the great work that he did. But it seemed that all the disagreement between Romeu and Ferran Olivier eventually took its toll, and Eduard Romeu has now decided to leave the club. Now, this is one thing that I have criticized about Joan Laporta, because even though I do believe that Laporta is doing a great job, you know, rescuing the club from the financial ruins that Bartomeu left us in, I do not like the way he runs the board, because I do believe that first of all, we need a CEO, which Laporta promised that he was going to put one once our CEO left, and he hasn't. We also need to professionalize how the club is ran. We need to professionalize all the positions and make the roles of each position very clear, and not so much having Laporta, you know, just choosing people who are loyal to him. Of course, these people are qualified people. He's not like choosing, you know, people who don't know what they're doing. These are qualified people, but I think that it does not look good when you're just, you know, when you're picking people who are mostly just loyal to you and are close to you. I think we definitely need to professionalize the way the club is being ran. Now, we will end today's video with the news that Bayern Munich are reportedly hatching a plan to try to sign Ronald Araujo in the summer transfer market. Now, as I reported before, Bayern Munich were trying to sign Araujo during the winter transfer market. Of course, Araujo did snub them, telling them that he was not interested in leaving Barcelona. But despite that, it's reported that Bayern Munich are still interested in signing our Uruguayan defender, because they are banking on Barcelona's difficult financial situation and are hoping to offer around 100 million euros to Barcelona, because they believe that Barcelona will not be able to reject the offer, and then they could end up ceding and selling Araujo to the Bundesliga club. Now, it seems that Bayern Munich are planning a total overhaul of their squad. There's talks about Bayern Munich getting rid of a lot of their senior players like Alphonso Davies, Kimmich, Sané, Upamecano, a bunch of names that have been surfacing that Bayern Munich are trying to get rid of. And if they do, that's one way that Bayern Munich could raise the money to make the 100 million euro offer for Ronald Araujo. But of course, as I've stated many times before, Barcelona have absolutely no plans of offloading Ronald Araujo. They consider Ronald Araujo absolutely untouchable. And in fact, Joan Laporta just said recently that if it was up to him, he would renew Araujo for life. And this is, of course, contrary to what you might have heard on ESPN or other reports saying that Barcelona are now open to selling Araujo. As far as I know from the sources who are very close to Barcelona, that's not the case. Things have not changed. Araujo is still untouchable. Of course, Barcelona do need to sell players in the summer in order to alleviate the financial fair play. And despite that, Barcelona still have a list of players who they would not sell no matter what kind of offers they get. Of course, those players are Pedri, Gavi, Araujo, Ter Stegen, Lamine, Kouarsi. But everyone else, Barcelona would consider selling if they do receive a good offer. Even though Barcelona would rather not sell anyone, they understand that they need to, so they are open to selling other players if they receive good offers for. But the untouchable ones like Araujo, those players are not for sale no matter what offer Barcelona receive. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like. Also, I would like to invite all of you to please leave a comment down below, giving me all your thoughts and opinions about all the news that I share with you. And finally, I would like to invite all of you to please subscribe to the channel so you can stay current on all the latest news in regards to our beloved club, FC Barcelona. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And as always, Viscarsa.